Welcome to Base Camp. I'm Pastor Pat.
And I need you to move over a bit.
Sure, Nodda. Is this better?
A little more. More. I guess that's good enough.
Nodda, I'm not even on screen anymore.
Do you hear anyone complaining?
I am not standing off screen for the program that I host.
Fine. Just keep to the edge, okay? I need lots of room for my bucket.
What do you need that big bucket for?
To catch all of my blessings.
To catch all your... What are you talking about?
In Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 26, God promises to send down showers of blessing. I'm just getting ready to catch it.
That isn't what that verse means.
In Matthew chapter 19, verse 29, Jesus says we, and I quote, will receive 100 times as much and will inherit eternal life.
What Jesus is saying there is that
Colossians chapter 3, verse 24 says, you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward.
Right. So that inheritance
chapter
is
10, verse 36. You will receive what he has promised. God never breaks his promises, so I'm getting ready to receive. Hey, don't you usually scroll the Bible verses over the screen?
I also usually give them in context.
What do you mean? I think these verses are pretty clear. I'm ready to live the blessed life.
The blessed life?
Yep. It's time to get my best life now. Health, wealth, and prosperity, baby. Bring on the blessings.
What?
Yeah. People who follow God get it good. I mean, just think about David. He ended up a king in a palace. I wonder if I'll have to move into my palace or if it'll come to me. I might need a bigger bucket.
Nodda.
Now, stand back. My blessings are about to fall.
First of all, those promises are for people who choose to follow God wherever he leads. Are you willing to do that?
Of course. He's leading me to the promised land.
Second, I think you've got a mixed up view of the blessed life.
What could be mixed up about rolling in dough?
The whole rolling in dough part? You mentioned David. You do realize that he had to go through a whole lot of not fun times before he got to be king, right?
I just can't wait to be king. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Okay, you know what? Speaking of kings, we've been reading through the book of 1 Kings and are currently in the part that deals with Ahab.
Ahab. Wasn't he the sea captain obsessed with killing a giant white whale? There she blows! 'Tis Moby Dick! Oh, wait. You probably mean that guy who was the most wickedest of all kings of the northern kingdom of Israel.
Yeah, that one.
What's he got to do with getting the blessed life from God?
Well, God confronted him by speaking through one of the greatest prophets in history, Elijah.
Hey, Elijah! I've heard of him. What did he do again?
He confronted Ahab. In 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1, Elijah tells him, as the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word.
Oh, sure. Scroll your verses. Anyway, now that's what I'm talking about. That's a blessing of power.
Yeah, except Ahab, he didn't like that so much. So God had Elijah take off and hide in a ravine, living by drinking out of the brook.
Wait! So God had Elijah confront Ahab. He pulled out the whole "it don't rain unless I tells it to rain" card, and his blessing for that was basically he ends up living in a van down by the river?
Well, I mean, vans wouldn't be invented for another couple thousand years, but yeah, that sums it up.
I suppose next you'll tell me he was left living on a steady diet of government cheese.
No. ravens fed him.
Well, la-di-da-da.
Well, at least until the brook dried up.
What?
You know, on account of there being no rain.
Someone didn't think that through.
Actually, God had thought that through. He had prepared a widow woman and her son to take care of him.
So now he gets the blessings. Let me guess. She has a major banquet prepared for him.
Nope. He asked her for some water and a little bread, and she says she can't give him any.
Why? Because she wants to take him home for a feast instead?
Because all she has left is a handful of flour and a little oil. So she's going to make one last tiny meal for her and her son to eat, and then they're basically going to wait around to starve to death.
Wasn't she a ray of sunshine?
Well, they had no food on account of there being no rain.
Again, someone didn't think that through.
Except, remember, Elijah is a man of God, acting on God's orders. So God has him tell the widow to first make him a little loaf of bread and then make some for her and her son, and that the flour and oil will not run out until it starts to rain again.
Really? And I'm almost afraid to ask, did it work?
Yep, for 3 years.
So that's something, I guess. I mean, living on little loaves of bread made from flour and oil for 3 years isn't great, but I guess they were alive.
Mostly. There was that time when the widow's son got sick and died, but Elijah prayed and brought him back to life.
Well, yeah, of course there would be something like that. What in the actual world? I thought he was supposed to be this amazing man of God. Where's his blessings?
His blessing was having an incredible relationship with God.
Yay.
No, really. We already talked about him controlling the weather, being fed by ravens, miraculously creating food, and raising someone from the dead. He also called down fire from heaven, led a nationwide revival, saw God send powerful winds and earthquakes and fire, prophesied future events while confronting the king, and parted the Jordan River by striking it with his rolled up cloak.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the greatest thing was what happened at the end. God sent down a chariot of fire and picked Elijah up in a whirlwind and brought him to heaven. So he never died.
What?
Yeah, the greatest thing, the biggest blessing in Elijah's life was that he had such an amazing relationship with God that he went straight into God's presence.
Now that's what I call a blessing.
Exactly. God promises us his blessings if we follow him, but those blessings don't necessarily mean an easy physical life. What they do mean is that God will provide us exactly what we need to complete the mission he's called us to, and that we'll get to spend eternity with him.
That's actually better anyway. I hear those palaces can get drafty in the winter.
True. And they don't last. But our relationship with God, well, that lasts forever.
Can't argue with that. Well, I'd better go put this bucket outside.
Outside?
Yeah, in case any ravens want to drop some food off in it. See ya!
Never mind. Following God may lead to a palace, or it may lead to a drying up brook, but it always leads to God's presence. And that's the greatest blessing of all. I'm Pastor Pat with Base Camp, a ministry of Summit Church in beautiful Bozeman, Montana. We have services every Sunday at 10 o'clock and would love to see you at them. You can also catch us online at summitchurchmt.com and on Facebook and YouTube by searching Summit Church MT. Our children's ministry Facebook page is Base Camp Kids Min. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks. Keep following God, and those blessings will keep pouring down. I'll see you again next time. Bye.
Holy Ghost, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun, at the trumpet call to lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee, now it's
I was right. The ravens did want to drop off some food in my bucket.
Really? Wow!
Yeah, but they had eaten it already.
You mean that they... Ew.